Hi guys, welcome. It's Christina here from C.U.Online, here to teach you about print on demand. I am a full-time print on demand seller who has been doing this for over a year now and was able to quit my job because of my money I was making with my print on demand store. So I want to share exactly what I've learned to help others do the same. And today I want to talk about 10 things that I wish I knew before I started my store, which really would have helped kick sales off and set expectations. And so I want you guys to hear this so you know how to get your store started on the right foot. Number one is to be proud of what you are doing. And you might be wondering how this actually affects your store in any way, but it really does. Your first orders are going to be the hardest to get. So if you can post what you are doing to your own social media, if you can talk to your friends about it, if you can talk to your family about it, you will be on a much better foot getting started because you can get those initial sales through friends and family. Then they can leave you reviews. This will give your store some boost in the rankings. And when people are looking through your store, they're going to trust it a bit more because you already have sales and reviews. I have started so many businesses, even including my TikTok and my YouTube and my print on demand store, where I did not tell anybody I started it. I was too embarrassed to fail. So I would just start little businesses and hope that they would kick off. And then once they were successful, or if I was randomly found out, that's when I would tell the people that I love what I was doing because I only wanted people to see my successes. But I could have seen way more successes if I had just trusted in my friends and family to respect that I am starting my own little small business. Number two, think about why you are actually doing this. Are you enjoying what you are doing? There is many different print on demand products that some maybe you love to sell and maybe some you hate. Luckily, I started off with my t-shirts and sweatshirts, which I actually love designing for. But later on, I decided to try a metal wall art store. I started it because I heard that they made much better margin, which they actually do, but I just did not enjoy making them. I didn't enjoy selling them. I don't know why when I got a sale, it would almost like give me butterflies in my stomach and like not in a good way, not in like the way that I love to make my t-shirt and sweatshirt sales. And I just love designing for my t-shirts and sweatshirts. I found those way more fun for me. If you are starting a project just because you want to see money, it will not last because you need to have fun doing it. So when things are slower and harder, you can persevere and keep going. You don't want to be stuck in something that you hate. So really think about what products you want to sell, what niches you want to sell in. Really even think about, do you want to be doing print on demand? Is this something that excites you? It excites me. I love it. But I know some people who have asked me, like, should I start a print on demand store? And I've asked them flat out, do you think you'll enjoy it? And they say no. And then I say, then no, you should probably not be doing a print on demand business. Number three, know that the Etsy suspension is very common. So many people were right on my TikTok saying, I can't do Etsy, I got suspended. Did you know my store was suspended? And then I actually didn't know I could get that store back. So I just created another one, which also got suspended. It's actually very common for Etsy to suspend stores, especially when you're hooking them up with Printify or Printful. It just, for some reason, sets off their bots. And it usually happens when you first create your store or maybe when you get your first sale. You'll log in and across the top of your store, you'll see a thing saying your Etsy is currently suspended. There will not be any emails about it. And that's how you know that it's just this like starter Etsy issue if you don't get an email. So just send Etsy an email and then you let them know, hey, my store was shut down. I just got started. I was hoping to get this back. Just let them know that you're not a bot. You're a real person managing the store. And just keep checking your store after sending that email and you'll get your store back probably in like about a week, sometimes shorter, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on how Etsy is feeling that week. But you actually won't get an email telling you it's reopened. You're just going to log in and it's back. It sucks, but it is very normal. It is not something that you did wrong. One thing I would suggest to try avoiding that. I can't promise that it'll work, but when you open your storefront, fill it out completely as fast as you can. So don't just leave it blank because that kind of looks sketchy to bots. So put in your banner and your logo. And if you already have an existing Etsy account, which you currently buy things on, try using that instead of creating a brand new Etsy account and then creating a storefront from there, because then at least you have some history proving you are human within Etsy's system. Number 4, don't be too set on your niche going into it. Number 1, I tell people you should niche down in either product or theme. So what I mean by that is you should just have a t-shirt store with multiple niches, or say you want to have a wedding theme. You shouldn't just do wedding shirts. You can have wedding shirts, wedding gifts, wedding binders, wedding decor, so many other things. So just pick one of those to kind of tie in the theme of your store so it doesn't look like someone's just throwing up everything that they could think of into a store. So it has a general feeling to it, but it still gives you leeway to test multiple different things. And in the terms of if you had a general t-shirt store, don't pick already that you are going to be a Pitbull mom only shirt store. You want to test many different niches. When I first started, I threw up so many different niches across different hobbies, different careers, different holidays. And by doing that, what you are able to do is you're able to see where you are ranking high for, where you have some room to grow. So if you had a Back to the Pitbull Mom shirt and you had that listed among a bunch of other products, but that becomes your only selling product, that means your keywords are working for that product and you are ranking high. So start designing more exactly like that. So ideally in the same niche, or maybe a slightly adjacent niche using the exact same design. So maybe a corgi mom in the exact same design, but that slightly changes the niche, but you're kind of still in the dog mom room there. But don't lock yourself in too early about your specific niche, because if that one just isn't working for you, maybe it's too competitive, maybe people aren't searching for it, then it's never going to sell. And tying yourself too hard to that is going to be hard to change up all your SEO towards your shop a little bit later. So keep it a little bit more open and be open to testing things. Number 5, do your research. You shouldn't just be opening an Etsy shop, putting up a bunch of things without ever understanding what makes a good t-shirt design, what a good title looks like, what is currently selling right now for other people. I have been doing print on demand on Etsy for so long now, and whenever I am in my spare time, I am still studying other stores. And what I mean by that is I am going into their stores, I'm seeing what their featured products are, I'm seeing how many sales they have, how many reviews they have, what products they are selling, what niches they're selling in. I use some external tools like Allura to find their top sellers. And I'm not copying these people. That is one thing I am trying to tell everyone. I am not saying see what's working for other people and steal their exact design and titles and keywords, but use it for inspiration. Why is that selling? Does it have a big, beautiful, legible font on it? Can you create a design like that in a different niche with that being the inspiration in your head without stealing their exact words and their exact design? Apply it to a new niche, and just understanding why something is selling can really help you look at your store and be like, yes, this is up to the ranks of these sellers. You're not going to be to that rank when you first get started, but it's really going to help you versus just going in blind. Number 6, take your time learning Etsy SEO. Etsy SEO is going to be the game changer for you. If you do not understand Etsy SEO, you are not going to be getting found. You're going to have to be driving your own traffic, which is going to be a lot more expensive and a lot more time consuming than if you just spent a day learning Etsy SEO early on before getting started. Read their Etsy SEO seller handbook, watch some of my videos, look at YouTube, look everywhere you can. And even like I stated before, go take a look at your competitors, search up t-shirts and see what's ranking high. Look how they're titling. Look how they're tagging. Look at their descriptions. Because if they're ranking high with how they're currently doing it, then it's probably working for them and it could probably work for you. So study beforehand. Don't just throw up things and then hope somehow someone's going to come upon it and purchase it. Number, I'm not sure. I think 7 or 6. I think 7. Anywho, number 7-ish. Invest in good mockups. Your mockup photos, which are the photos that you are going to be using to place your products on. So I'm actually wearing a plain Bella Canvas shirt right now. So you'd find a picture on Etsy of someone wearing this, and then on Canva, you place your product on top. So it looks like someone's actually wearing it. Don't use the regular supplier mockups. Those are not doing your design any favor. So log into Etsy. If your product is the Bella Canvas, search up the Bella Canvas 3001 mockups on Etsy and find some beautiful ones. People have done such a good job at taking beautiful, stylized product photos with these that are laid out in a way that makes it super easy for you to just put your design on top. It's gonna add up a little bit at first. There are bundles that you could buy, but don't skip out on buying these because you're trying to save a few bucks. It's really maybe going to cost you $30, which is not a bad startup cost for anything. It's going to be actually your like biggest startup cost to your print-on-demand store, which compared to any other business out there is tiny. So spend some time buying some mockups for all of your products because Etsy is a visual platform. If people are scrolling and your mockup photo looks fake, the design looks off, if it just gives this visual of untrust, which a lot of them do, if you can tell that it's like heavily like photoshopped in, like someone photoshopped a coffee cup in it, then it just doesn't give off this like feeling of this being a real product that they want to buy. So invest in those good mockups and it will pay back exponentially. Number 8 is set your expectations. I get a lot of comments that say, I tried for a week, didn't work, doesn't work, this is oversaturated. And it's so hard to just tell people, you need to actually put in work. Print on demand is super front loaded. Yes, you do have to keep adding new products as you go, but the most time that's going to be spent on your store is getting started because you need tons of products up and you need a lot of practice before you start seeing those sales. It took me 5 weeks for my first sale, 70 listings. Some people get it in a week. Some people get it 2 months later. But you're not looking, you might be, but you shouldn't be looking to be just making a few $100 right in your first month. You are in this for the long game. My kind of journey was 1 sale, and then I think I got 3 sales the next month. And then luckily it went up to like 10, 30, and then it stayed around 10 to 30 sales for a few months before everything started exponentially going up and I started making thousands a month, which hasn't come down since. You are not in this to just make a quick buck for the week. This is a long-term play, and set your expectations and don't give up too early. I think that is the number one reason people fail at print on demand is because they can't put in this upfront work without seeing the payoff and they give it up. And that's why for people like me and you who are able to push forward when it is hard and when it is slow, we will get the payoff in the long run. Number 9, you'll probably see this and notice this when you are doing your product research by looking at other people's stores, but don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to be making these extravagant, crazy designs. You don't need to be a graphic designer to do this. You just need to understand what sells and what emotions to get people to purchase a product from you. Some of my best sellers are literally just a bold word across the front, usually with like a curve along it, or sometimes just like a little cute saying like right at the top here. There are so many stores I've seen who just do text-based designs. Some of them literally just use the exact same font and like layout for every single one of their shirts, but they apply it to hundreds or thousands of different niches. And that has worked out well for them. So if you're not a graphic designer, don't freak out saying you can't do this. It actually might work against you to over design, because people like simple. At least for me, I love the minimalist design. So many of my shirts just have like a little symbol in the corner, a word, 2 words. Don't overcomplicate it. And to end on a cheery note, the last point, accept that you are going to suck. I'm sorry. You're going to suck for a little bit. I sucked when I first started. I sucked at TikTok when I first started. I sucked at YouTube. I still suck at YouTube. I'm just starting. But you learn as you go. When I do audits for people, I can just tell what their first designs were, and I can tell which ones are their newest, even not looking in chronological order of when they made it, because I can just see the improvements in the designs, in the mockups, in the SEO, and so much more. You might not actively notice that you are getting better, but you will in a few months when you are finishing a design and suddenly you go back and look at your first designs and you're like, oh my God, why did I think that looked good back then? Because back then you didn't have the experience that you're going to get now. And this also plays back to the whole point about don't give up too early, because you're going to suck early. And then you get better. And that's when you start seeing the major differences in sales. And you also get way faster at designing and listing. I can get usually a design and a listing fully complete in about 15 to 20 minutes now. It was like hours when I first started. Okay, guys, I hope that was enough inspiration for you. So if you haven't started your store first, you have some expectations and some homework to do before getting started with your store. But get started as early as you can, because remember, you are going to suck early on. So accept that. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And I promise you will get there with some persistence. If you haven't subscribed yet, please give me a follow, as this is another one of my projects that I'm hoping in a few months I'm going to look back and be so happy I started, even though it's really rough starting at the beginning, even for me, because this is a whole new experience. So please give me a follow, and hopefully you can even watch me improve over time. All right. Thanks, guys.